Good morning. It's Carol back from her 9-month hiatus of chemo, surgery, and radiation. I finished it all last Wednesday. And I kind of fell over like a tree for a couple of days, but I wanted to get back to this slow stitching because I really love the effect that we are getting with this piece that we have been working on. And for those of you who are new, and I have many new subscribers that I want to thank for joining me, and you will find videos 1 through 6 in the playlists under 2020 Slow Stitch. 2020 Slow Stitch. We worked on all of these bits, including this one, but I did not share how I did this to show you how absolutely easy it is to do this. You thought this was easy to do. This is even more fun. Now, in order to prep for this, excuse me, in order to to prep for this video, I threaded needles with the colors of thread that I'm going to be using, and I didn't want to take your time up with that because it's also ugly, because I have a little bit of neuropathy in the very tips of my fingers from the chemo, and hopefully that will wear away with time, and the new nerves will grow into take over. So it's called doing one's best in the situation given. I also had been trying. I thought I would experiment a little bit. Now this is down the rabbit hole, folks. Just a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I thought I wanted to try doing some pieces to some clusters, and I'm quite happy with the effect of these little guys. But I also have it in my mind, I'm going to really have, now that I have time to think about something besides myself, I'm going to think about how it is that I can add paper to this, because I would love to add some music paper. I would love to add some of the very old printed pieces that I've gotten from Rachel at Roxy Creations, and so forth. So this is where I stand now on this one. I need one more piece of lace for the cover here, but I was thinking that there ought to be a way to put bits of beautiful paper in there. Well, let's get out of this rabbit hole and put that over here to the side. Alrighty, now what do I need? I need scissors. I've got my needle and thread, and these two little bits. These are the other two flowers that we're going to be adding. I used this pressed sari ribbon, and as you can see the width of it, which worked very nicely here, and I cut off pieces, and let me show you how deliciously simple this is. Well, I don't quite remember, it's been a while. I think there are 3 pieces here, maybe 4. 1, 2, 3. No, 3. Alrighty, so you have 3 pieces, about approximately the same size, or to work with the piece that you're working on. So 1 in the hand, 2. Now these are not exactly dead on top of each other. I turned them, and the last one wherever it strikes you. And then I fold it in half. So we have our 3 pieces, not directly on top of each other, but cattywampus. And then another fold, and you have that little goodie in your hand. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the flower. Now I've cut a very long bit of this light green because we're going to be doing some stems, and we're going to couch in this color. Well, that silk went right through my fingers. Let's make sure we get a knot at the end, or else I'm going to have to do this properly. Okay, do we have a knot? Yes, we do. We have a knot. All systems are go. Let's get this baby out of here. So, what we're going to do is just tack this point so that all of the layers are going to be caught up together. And you can go over it twice, 3 times, whatever. Well, my fingertips seem to be doing a little bit better. And yes, I'm sure as you've noticed, because it seems as though that's all you do see of me, but yes, I have lost weight through these 9 months, and I have to work on getting it back. And gaining weight is not that easy. Alrighty, here, as you can see, is our flower. I'm going to put this flower up here. So I'm going to go through to the back where I want the flower placed and pull it down to its new home, and then get in here with my fingers and spread the quote-unquote petals a little bit, and then right back up there through. It's strange, but sometimes silk can be quite the one to push a needle through. Layers of silks are so tightly woven that they can sometimes be a pill. Part of which, of course, is my little bit of neuropathy, so we're going to get out our good friend here. We're going to get out our good friend so that we can pull the needle right up through. Okay, so you can see here we have another flower, and the green center of the flower back down through. Now this slides beautifully because I'm using a little bit of silk because I love the color. And did you notice how that gathered right in and became a flower? Now I'm going to go back up one more time, and this time it worked beautifully. Alrighty now. And the flower. And you can pull these petals, separate the layers, whatever look you want to have. Now we have one more, and I'm just not going to tie off because nobody's going to see the back. It's going to be glued to our commonplace glue book cover. I think right next to this guy. And you can see on the back, that's allowed. Now, fold, fold again, tack the pointy little corner, making sure that everybody gets on that needle. Making sure that everyone, yes, I think I'm going to like that location a lot. And this one I'm going to put way down close here so that I can make sure that it goes exactly where I want it to. Such a good friend to have handy. Rachel at Roxy Creations has one that sits on her finger like a thimble, but I haven't been able to see it anywhere. But my eye is out. Okay, here's our second flower here. Let's go back up through to make sure that it's tacked down to suit us. Not sure I like that one right there. I'm going to come out through here. Better. Better. Much better. Okay. And down through. And now that we have all of our 3 flowers, 2 here, 1 there, now we can tie this off. Two, and 1 more for good luck. Three. And back out of harm's way. Now, so here we are so far. Now I'm going to show you a carol version of turkey work. And turkey work is fluffed up, padded work in needlepoint. It's beautiful. It has to all be trimmed and so forth and so on. But I'm going to do a variation because the center of this flower, it's needing a center. So let's come right up in that hole. Let's come right up in the hole in the center of this flower. Okay, and this is a loop, and I have 3 strands of DMC. Now, let's leave a loop, and let's come right back up through the center hole again. Don't pull too tightly because you want to leave that original loop. Back down through the hole. Back up through the hole. And as you can see, do it as many times as tickles you. And we have the beginnings Or you could stop there very easily. Let me come down closer for you. Okay. Yeah, the last one's a little too full, so I'll give it a little more of a tug. Now back up through that center hole, and where it comes through makes no difference. And another one. And I think a couple more. Why not? I want to hope that all of you are well and enjoying your weekend. And I want to take a few moments to thank all of you who have subscribed to me during these last tedious 9 months. That's the only word I can use for it. Well, I could use other ones, but they're not nice. But I have wonderful results. And the doctor said I'm going to be around for quite a while. Quite a while. Now that's a tickle. After all of this, miracles of modern medicine, I am quite happy that I went through all of it. Happy to be out the other end. And when I gain some weight and get a little bit more energy as time goes along, I'm going to be one happy girl. I think I'm going to stop there. I want to mess these up a little bit. There we go. There we go. So you can see they're in the vicinity of the hole, and the vicinity is good enough. Okay, I'm going to tie off now. Yes, I do hope that my fingers come back. The soles of my feet are a little bit numb also. Now, if you wish to do so, you can clip just a few of these. Just a few of the loops. Two. And one more. I think I'll do this one. Okay, so we have some straight ones and some looped ones. And we have our 2 extra flowers here. And now I'm thinking that number one, I'm going to go and get myself some water. And I'll think some more, because I'm thinking that I would like a stem here for this one and 2 stems here, just to show that they're flowers. Not necessary, but so simple. I want to show you couching, and then we will have had all our learning experiences. These are simply, I think we talked about it in number 6, slow stitch. This is just pieces of lace cut from, there's the lace hiding. There it is. In leaf patterns cut from this piece of, from this piece of lace. There it is. Leaf patterns. And then I just did backstitch around the outside, and to give some veins in the leaves. But I'm thinking a little more, just a little more, not too much. I'll be right back with my water. Alrighty, I have some water. I'm not the greatest hydrator in the world, and I have to stop and think of it. Teachers spend 37 years dehydrated because drinking water leads to trips out of a classroom, and a sane person does not do that. Let's decide that this is going to come down this way over here. So I'm going to put it in. Or I could put it over. What do you think? I'm thinking maybe I'll do over. Now this is 4 strands of the variegated green that I used here. And it's going to come down to over here. It's going to be in a okay, let me make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Here it is. Here's the stem. I want it to come down between the leaves. Okay, between the leaves it is. Starts there, scoops around to here. And I'm going to take this one, bring it around, and put it out of the way, because these are just going to be 2 small straight ones to compensate, to show that those are 2 flowers. So that's out of the way, tucked in, out of the way. Now I'm going to couch, and couching just means that I cover the strands with a cross ties so that it does not move. I love couching. I could couch until my brains fell out. Now, and I think they did. Now, okay, separate strand of silk. And the only thing to remember about proper couching is that the piece that comes up close on one side, see, oh, these fingers, sometimes they're a pill, and down close on the other side, but be sure that your couches are perpendicular to, at a right angle to whatever the thread is that you're tacking down or couching down. In other words, they cannot be like this. That's a no-no. I'm just telling you this. It doesn't really make that much difference. No one's going to look at it and say, oh, look at that, or couching isn't right. I'm just sharing my years of experience with couching for those of you who are interested. In other words, each one of those is a right angle. That's correct couching. And this is incorrect. Or you can say, but this is easier for me to do it this way, and there are no embroidery police or slow stitching police going to be looking at this. And I know that some of you are interested in hearing the gory details from Carol after 40 years of stitching. Okay, so this is a little bit difficult to see here. Very close as you can get that needle. On the bottom side, and right straight up above it, over the 4 strands. Okay, I'm doing this lighter so that I think it might be a tad easier for you to see. You be sure that you are on the outside of the railroad tracks, the railroad ties, however you want to view this. Okay, let me see. Are you starting to see? I do hope so. Do hope so. And down, opposite. Let me see if I can't get that's a little bit big, but I'm not going to take it out because, as I said, there are no police about to bang on my door. And the nice thing about this is you can couch, you don't have to couch straight, you can couch. Make sure I'm doing it correctly here. Make sure I get in to the outside of that couch thread and put on my couching stitches. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, you're not going to do that. You just think you are. No, 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 no. Carol's not having that. Okay, now let me see if I can't get you even a little closer. See, there's the bad one. But this is the way they're supposed to look. And we'll just follow this around into the curve, and when I get to the end, I can stop at the back and tie off, and then over here, let me get this one up out of the way now, onto the front, and I'll show you where these are going to be. And this again is going to come right across the back. Going to come right down here. There's one stem. And here is the other one. There, we'll come over here. nice and straight, and they will be couched down, and this will be tied off here. And then we'll have a little review of what's been happening on this piece. Nice and straight, good. Good. So we have this one that's going to curve over to here, and these two. Now this is ready to go. I'm going to leave that there, and then let's back out and have a look. And I'll put this couching thread onto the back. And there we go. So we started out with our piece of batting. We put pieces, crazy quilt style pieces of fabric here, green here, polka dots there, script fabric there, a fabric with the colors that I liked up here, and this was a piece of my stamped white cotton fabric. Then I used this netting lace, which I was gifted, thank you, Carol, to cover the top bit, and I love the straight lines. And before I did that, I did some seed stitches around the edge of the stamped fabric. Attached this very carefully with, I call it stab stitches, all around. Then this one motif of lace was added, and every bit of the outside of this was put down with stab stitches. In other words, outside and down as tiny as you could get it, from the outside in. Always from the outside in, because it'll keep the line of the lace working nicely for you. So that was added next. And then we did this big old flower, which couldn't be more simple for those of you who are new. You can see us making that in one of the getting separate papers is not easy with these fingers sometimes, so a lot of saliva gets employed. Now, this was a piece of this silk. It came in a packet, a gift to me, so I saved it, and boy am I happy that I did. And that is the flower. You take the two ends, you sew them together, and I went back and forth 2 or 3 times to make sure it was nice and tightly sewn together. And you have a circle. Then you take one side and you fold it down upon itself, and you stitch right around all the way. And there is this part of the flower. Then you take this flower and bring it back over. You gather this very tightly so that you get the center of the flower on this sewn side. Pull your thread nice and tight, bind it off, and then you have your flower. You just have to make sure that you turn it inside out so that this pretty part the fold at the top is in the center. And you just take it and you scrunch it down so that the unsewn part is underneath here, and you fuss with it and play with it and make your flower, and then go around with a piece of matching, I use matching silk to put the tiniest stitches I could possibly do to tie it on down, and that was it, done, flower. A row of stitching here, folding this part over, and after you get the last stitch in, you give it a good tight gather, and that makes the center of the flower. And did you notice how each of these come out shaped like this? Because that's just what happens. It's magic. And then you plop down and you push under these raw edges so that you have a flower shape that makes you happy. And you tack down tiny stitches from the outside in. Always from the outside in, because it will maintain your shape. And today we did 2 more of these flowers, which were just pieces of sari silk, and I showed you the technique there. We talked about the fact that this is just lace cut in leaf shapes with some back stitching of green on it, and I did a little bit of stitching along on this piece because it was kind of bare compared to what was happening over here. So I used some of the colors that I had used before, including some of the pink to bring out the pink of this flower. And then I forgot to tell you, I jumped right over this. After I got the this piece of lace tacked down the way I wanted it, I went over the design in the lace with lacy daisies in the same green as we're using here for the couching, and pink silk, the same pink silk that I tied this down with, lacy daisies. And there we have our finished piece. And I'm going to work on finishing the couching. And next time we get to our commonplace glue book, I am literally going to glue this down onto the front of the book because it's cut to fit the front cover of that book. I do hope you have enjoyed visiting with me again. It's been quite a while, but I'm feeling good. I'm just a little tiny bit of tiredness is setting in, but that's allowed. I will be seeing you quite soon. Things to share with you during this month of December, and I have, since I've been able to cogitate quite a lot, I have some plans for some slow stitching for next year, and some other projects that I hope you will enjoy. If you have enjoyed today's visit, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, I do answer them, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Bye now. See you soon.